It's been said that compounding is the eighth wonder of the world, and for good reason. If you look at your own life, when you focus and go all in on something over a prolonged period of time, the growth and expansion gets bigger and bigger the longer that you stay in the game, whatever you're playing, and vice versa. So the more poor decisions that you make and continue to make over prolonged periods of time will end up paying dividends, right? Whichever way you go. So compounding works both ways. It doesn't judge on the behaviour, it just compounds either way. In terms of wealth creation, if you increase your wealth by 1% per month, now that's more than doable, which works out, compounded over a decade, that's around 250% increase when you increase your wealth by 1% per month. And vice versa the other way. So when you're making daily decisions on what you're doing with the money that you make every day, is it putting money in your pocket or is it taking money out of your pocket? Over time, could you consider thinking far enough into the future to see how the daily decisions that you're making are impacting your life? Because a lot of people say, I'm doing what I'm doing for my kids or whatnot, but the reality is when you look at the daily decisions, that doesn't actually represent what's going on. It's just shallow words, right? And long-term views, long-term action, long-term thinking with the actions that you make today will always pay dividends. I'm studying a bit of Charlie Munger again at the moment. I'm reading his book, and it's evident that his frugality as he was building his companies was one of the most important things of his incredible wealth when he passed away. He lived in a very, very modest house. He didn't like to spend money on luxuries, same as Warren Buffett. Driving very average cars, buying very average real estate and property to live in, rather. And today you go on social media and whatnot and everyone's trying to show off their flash cars and all this nonsense. But the reality is that those seeming luxuries that don't really mean anything other than a quick dopamine shot. We all get bored of these things in time. The reality is that these things are eating into your future money, right? They're eating into your future wealth. You buy a car that naturally depreciates over time. You're going to be eating, it's going to be taking money out of your pocket, eating into your future wealth. You buy real estate, you buy precious metal, you buy Bitcoin. Over time, these things are going to go up in price as poor monetary policy continues to erode everybody else's wealth, right? If you've listened to my previous videos on inflation and currency debasement, you'll know that if you hold on to cash and save what we know as money, which is actually currency, they're not the same thing. What we know as currency is debasing, and the more you understand this, the more you learn about this, the less cash you'll hold in a bank account and the more real world assets you'll put that cash into. Compounding these assets over time, particularly real estate in my opinion, which provides cash flow, which gives you good rental income, which you can then buy further assets with. If you do that consistently over a decade, keep pumping the vast majority of your profits back into asset acquisitions and precious metal acquisitions and all that stuff, in a decade's time, in 20 years, 30 years time, you are going to be far more beneficial for it than if you save money, than if you pissed it all up the wall on luxuries, new cars and whatever. But we live in a quick dopamine, short-term thinking reality at the moment. You've got TikTok brain, as I call them, or pancake brain. Nobody knows how to think properly anymore, if they don't get a quick information overload or a quick diversion in attention, they have no idea how to hold conversation, how to think properly anymore. And rare is it to find the man who knows how to hold conversations on many different things, who knows how to, who makes decisions based on long-term thinking, long-term futures rather than short-term futures. Rare is he, you'll struggle to find them. So when you meet them, make sure you hold good conversations with them. They're usually wise people. This isn't new information. This isn't, a revelation of any sort. You can find this in all the wealthy people's books, right? If you read their autobiographies and biographies, one of the main things that they'll be saying is, don't buy stupid stuff that eats into your nest egg, because that nest egg is there to create more and more life, right? If you go to the natural world, if you look at a tree, the tree will grow out of the ground and then continue to produce more and more of what it is, right? It doesn't stop until it's dead. And what you're doing when you waste cash, what you're doing is you're killing off that natural offspring. You're killing off the flow of the money to you by wasting it on stuff that doesn't increase in price. It's very easy to do when you have timelines shorter than, I'd say, at least 24 months, but I always work on a decade. Every decision you make today, make that based on what life you want in 10 years' time. Easy to be sucked into, oh, look at him, he's doing this and he's doing that. I released a video yesterday on comparing yourself to everybody else. Well, if you compare yourself in 10 years to these people, if you did go down the comparison route and you've invested more or less everything that you've earned today rather than just spending it on unnecessary crap, your life is going to look a lot different to theirs. So make your decisions today based on where you want to be in 10 years' time.